Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to our whiskey review. As today we're going to be reviewing Mr. Bananas, the Johnnie Walker Blue Label. And I want to say a quick thank you to my friend Frankie, because whenever I borrow a bottle, I always put a label of the person's name as also it matches the bottle fill. So thank you, Frankie, for making this review possible. I'll leave a link of his up here. So Johnnie Walker Blue. This is actually one of the things I was waiting to review, as I reviewed the red all the way to the XR21. So I've covered everything: black, double black, green, platinum, gold. So if you haven't missed that, I'll leave it linked here. And after this, I'm going to be reviewing the Johnnie Walker Blue Label Ghost and Rare. So let me pour myself a dram before Mr. Banana steals everything, and so we can get started. So if you guys also, if you have a Blue Label at home, this is going to be a question for this video. How many of you guys have ever broken the cork on this thing? Because it's one of the most scariest things about a Johnnie Walker Blue Label. I've bought so many blues since I started this journey in whiskey, and one thing I noticed, the cork always breaks. So Frankie, props to you on making sure it doesn't actually snap. And that's the last time I'm opening this bottle. So, Johnnie Walker Blue Label. It is a ultra premium blended Scotch whiskey from Johnnie Walker. It is a no-age statement. So compared to the XR21, which is the sort of travel retail one that you get in the airport, which is not a Blue Label, but that one's a 21-year-old whiskey. This is a no-age statement, but it can include whiskies also in the 30-year-old whiskey range. Now, so no-age statement, bottled at 40%, and take note of the gold label. So Johnnie Walker Blue has different varieties. You've got the cask edition, which has got a white label, bottled at 55.8%. You've got the different Chinese Zodiac versions, which I'm trying to still find my Year of the Monkey, being Mr. Bananas myself. You've also got these different ones, which are Skyline editions, which are special editions for Edinburgh, London, and different cities around the world. So you've got lots of different Johnnie Blues in the market. Now, the parent company for them are Diageo, and these are the guys who do own a lot of distilleries like Mortlach. I think Mortlach goes into making the Blue Label. They own Clynelish, Talisker, Lagavulin, quite a lot of very well-known distilleries in the sort of the whole category of Scotch whiskey. Now, the price point on this bottle is £135. It's not exclusive, and it does contain caramel colouring, and this is something I've seen with all blended whiskies. They do it just for batch consistency. So without further ado, let's get into the nose. Let's see what we can get in the Johnnie Walker Blue Label. To begin on the nose for the Johnnie Walker Blue Label, kind of like a toffee apple, like a pecan pastry as well. It's like you've got the pastry, you've got pecans drizzled over the top, a bit of icing sugar, and a bit of almost like royal icing in the mix. I'm getting a bit of dried figs as well, quite fruity, quite rich. And then it's got almost like a raisiny character about it. Maybe maybe freshly baked raisin bread. And a little bit of like a nutty aspect as well. Maybe almond flakes, not actual full almonds, but almonds that have been sort of like grated almond flakes. And there is a slight vanilla note in this one as well. It's very distinctive. I think there's a straight, easy, almost like a vanilla cream. And there is a slight smoky aspect about this one. And you can actually see it's coating the glass so well. It's so oily. But there is a smoky aspect. And to me, it's not a very strong smoky aspect. Maybe because I've been tasting lots of the Lefroigs. But it's almost like you've taken clothes that have been, like you've been next to a bonfire and you've smelt your clothes the next morning. And you can smell that sort of smoky residue off the clothes. But minus that, that's about it for the nose. Lots of character on the nose, which is fantastic. Let's get into the palate next. Slanger. So to begin now, onto the palate for the Johnnie Walker. Arrival on the palate, it's oily, it's mouth coating. It's just so rich and fruity as well. It's got this almost spiced oak character that begins it out, and then you get into these fruity, almost a slight smoky aspect about it. It's almost like a very gentle, peaty smoke which comes into play, and then it goes into like a very rich, sort of chewy, dried fig cake. You get notes as well that develop off this one that make you straight away, for me, it reminds me of dark chocolate infused together with chili flakes, which I actually had. I think it's a Lindt chocolate, which is dark chocolate with chili flakes, giving you that little bit of spice, but you're getting this sort of cocoa character coming through, and that sort of oily character just really coating all over the palate. It does have that slight oaky presence, but I'm going to take a second sip because there's just so many flavors to pick out. So from the second sip now, straight away, those characters are continuing on, but I'm getting almost like a chewy, malty character that's sort of combined together with this oily sort of mouth coating texture. I'm getting a sweeter note, almost like sultanas, and you're getting a slight dash of lime zest that all just rounds us all out, but adding a little bit of a extra oomph in there. Really nice whiskey overall on the palate. Let's see if the finish can sort of live up to it, and we'll come to our conclusion straight after. So now into the finish for the Johnnie Walker Blue Label. This is overall, I'd say, a medium full finish. It's got that malty character. Those dried fruits are still lingering over the palate with a little bit of a sweetness like fudge, and those faint spices which play backwards and forwards. In terms of my rating for this whiskey, I'm going to give that and then sort of explain where I'm sort of going with this whiskey. I'm going to give this one here an 88 out of 100. Now, the reason behind this, I know it's classified as an ultra premium blended Scotch whiskey. The actual whiskey flavor profile, you're getting really nice stuff on the nose, on the palate, finish as well. It's got a nice consistency, a nice sort of, I'd say, viscosity about it as well. It's got complexity. However, in terms of the price point, especially here in the UK, some places I've seen around about 135, 150, even some at 180 pounds. Now, personally, I don't feel it's in that price bracket. I feel that's kind of just slightly higher than what I'd pay. I think anywhere near 100 pounds, it's a really good whiskey, but above 150, 130 pounds, I personally don't feel it's worth it. But it does give you a lot of character, and I do have to say it is a brilliant whiskey. But for the price point, you're mainly paying for marketing, and for what pretty much movies it featured in and all that sort of the additional hype which you get when you look at these ultra premium blended whiskies. However, I do recommend, if you haven't tried the Johnnie Walker XR21, I'm going to leave that linked over here. It's not a peated whiskey, but you get so much of extra character, I feel, and for the sort of similar price point, I feel that just does a bit more for me. But that's my opinion. Let me know yours down below in the comment section as well. I've got the Johnnie Walker Ghost and Rare next up, so I'm looking forward to that one. But if you have enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button over here. Mr. Bananas is back now, and I'm going to leave some other Johnnie Walker videos on the screen. Actually, I think I'm going to leave Ghost and Rare here. So once it's uploaded, you will be able to see it. So on that note, this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas, and we'll catch you all for the next video. Sláinte.